All right, welcome everybody. Thank you for coming along today. It's a really exciting day in the Hawks' history. We welcome a new coach, and we also say goodbye to arguably the best coach that's ever coached in Australia. So with that, I'd like to just throw it open to questions.
Gorge, how are you feeling about departing the Hawks?
Well, a lot of emotion running through the veins, and just the knowing towards the end that the time's right for the change, and also just the emotion of in the locker room afterwards of not being with the group again and not winning the chip. And I know all of us felt like we had a great opportunity this year to win it. So there was some disappointment there, but also, reflection. Just for me personally, what a great 2 years I've had. Thanking just a tremendous group of guys to coach, a tremendous staff. Enjoyed the office. Absolutely love the community. But again, and the ownership. I got to keep going and you keep thinking what pieces. I just everything here I feel blessed and enjoyed the hell out of. And but I'm also know this was part of the plan originally. I've been associated with Jacob since I was young, so it's been a long time. And I knew when I took the job that it wasn't going to be forever. Timing's everything, and it's really important to me, this program and where it goes. And the plan in my mind was always this: get some bases in place, come back to Australia, be a part of something exciting and great, and then set that table for somebody that is like a son to me, and somebody I have the utmost respect for, and so excited about him and this opportunity. And I know the players are, I know the community is, and again, the timing's right, and that side of it I'm really happy about.
And I guess there was perhaps maybe a temptation to go that extra year. You've done so well to get the side to consecutive playoff series, but the grand final and the championship has eluded you. Was there ever the temptation to go that extra year to see what would happen?
I mean, in my mind, I thought that was going to be this year, and I had my opportunities. And we had started with these guys. We put a great team together. The organization did a great job the first year. We made the adjustments, and my mindset was always, this is the year. And but again, I have no regrets, or I was told this at the end. You're in this a long time. A guy like Popovich or the best in the world. They've coached for 40 years. I've coached for 30 some years. If the only time you're happy is when you win a championship, you're going to have a disappointing life in this game. So I knew down the back stretch, this is the time, and I knew we had a chance, and we did. And we came close, but no regrets. And I know it's there. This thing's going to knock on the door for a while. Jacob will take it to another level, and the team will keep in that for a long period of time. And then someday soon, they're going to break through and win this thing. And nobody will be happier than me.
You're moving to another role within the Hawks of basketball operations. Do you see, is this potentially the last coaching job that you'll ever do as a head coach, or have you not have you not come to that conclusion in your mind yet?
Oh, rest assured. I mean, a lot of things were said afterwards about I'm tired, I'm old. He doesn't look. My engine's at 100 miles an hour, and I will be coaching next year. I definitely will be coaching next year, and I'm excited about the opportunity ahead and what I'll be doing and where I'll be coaching, but also that everybody understands that I'm committed to this, and in what I'm doing in the future, I think can be helpful to this program, to Wollongong. And Jared and myself are working through that process now. But there is also another side of it, like I'm going to be sitting on the bleachers there with a cigar behind Jacob and evaluating everything he does. That certainly is not the case. But I love this team, I love this community, and in the role that I'm in any manner that I can help this organization, I will, and I think I can, and I'll be putting energy towards that.
I understand you have a couple of offers on the table. Can you tell us a little bit more about them, or is there anything that would tempt you away from the Illawarra?
Well, I will be coaching, and I will be spending time here whenever I'm not. So, but that's for later.
Jacob, you've been on this journey with Gorge for a very long time. How does it feel to now finally get the keys to the team and step out of your shadow?
I mean, it's a bit sad because every day I've gone to work with the same person, and it's been sort of easy. I've had really strong opinions, but not had to live or die by them to a thing. So obviously, it started with Gorge at a young age. I was young as well, and now like 15 years or something, and over a couple of countries as well. So obviously that's a sad part of it. And now with having Sam, Tyler, Greta, AK, Mud all signed, and knowing their kind of personalities, and them knowing me and I'm knowing them, it's the right time for me to get something new and start something new, and especially in a team like with the Hawks, you know what I mean, and being in a small community, I think it suits, and it's just the right time. But it will be a little different for the first couple of practices, because usually I yap and then run away, but now when I yap, everyone's going to be looking at me, so I guess that's going to be the biggest difference I'm going to have to deal with.
Jacob, what's some of the key learnings you've learned from Gorge during that long journey you've had together?
I'd say the best one is there's two things that I've learned where it's been wow factors over my time, and I remember the time and place. There's a lot of things that he'd said to me that sometimes he thinks I don't listen to him, but I do. The two ones is an unbelievable will to win. You know what I mean? Like when there's been times, I think it was one game on the side, we were in Sichuan, and the guys got thrown out. It was craziness, and I'm not losing this. And I was like, whoa. And that's 8 or 9 years into what we were doing. I was like saying, a word, and then I said, this guy knows how to win. You know what I mean? And I learned a lot from that way. And then there was another time where we had a bit of a bad run with something or other. I guess it was in China again, I would imagine. Yeah. And he just told me I don't quit. And so those two things right now, I mean, you want to hear the basketball. It's the basketball, obviously, he is who he is with that, but it's more those two things where that's a special learning curve that no one else, I feel, has been able to get that. You know what I mean? Like I've had this personal apprenticeship to that and that's something you learn with time, and I'm feeling hopefully I don't make those early bird mistakes because I've learned so much off him that way.
Tyler and Sam. I just want to get your thoughts on the situation. Give us a bit of an insight into Jacob as the time you've had together.
Well, obviously, you're sad when you first hear the news, but Jake called me and told me that he'd be taking over as well, so I was, of course, very excited for him. I know Jake very well. Like he said, the last 2 years here have been great with him. He is behind the scenes, but Jake's he's around every day with us, grinding with us, so of course I was very happy for him. So yeah, I know the guys that are coming back are also very happy for that opportunity, but you're also losing a big piece as well, so we're also sad with that.
And Sam, can you give me a bit of an insight into what Gorge has taught you and some of the key lessons you've had over him the last couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, the 2 years I've been under Gorge, I think my game's gone to a whole nother level than where I was. I think the big one for me was just, the effort and intensity. I think my first year here, we weren't very good. And there was just, Gorge comes in and the attention to detail on the defensive end and the run on the floor and how hard you have to work doing that stuff. I don't think I really learnt that my first year, and these last 2 years, those two things have been massive, and just carrying that through.
And you'll hopefully take that to the next level under Jacob as well.
Yeah, for sure. I
You
mean,
better.
Do you guys think that Goorjian set up a good foundation to then go on to, I guess, challenge for the championship and, a good base to build on?
100%. I think these 2 years have been massive to set that foundation, and I think there's probably no one better than Jake to take it over.
Gorge, you've done more than just, hold that clipboard. You really championed the cause for the name to be put back into this franchise when the NBL took it away. Was that one of your proudest achievements, that you were in some way and the team, to help push the NBL to see the error of their ways?
A huge aspect to this, and when we started with the ownership, was to get the community behind the team. And the first thing is putting a team together like this, that when they come to the game, it's going to perform. And then the second thing is getting to the community. And I had no idea when I started that the name was going to be an aspect, but that became a very, very important piece, and a piece that I'm very proud of. But also, that last game, and you got to remember, I know everyone, for 2 years we've been involved with COVID. So going out to the community, going to the schools, being at, to dinners and stuff we haven't been able to do that. And and we've still, you go to that last game and this place is packed to the rafters. I knew, again, as I was saying, in my mind, I'd already made the move. I'm locked down. I want to win this championship with this group. And I stood on the sideline and just took a good round all around that stadium, and it put a big smile on my face that the whole community, and we sold that place out in the last home game here. And I think that's the most exciting part, is that there's a relationship between the ownership, the playing staff, the coaching staff, and the community, and that's been built over this 2-year period through COVID. And when the team gets in the community more, they're going to realize what a great, not only what these guys are, I've coached a long time, these are special human beings. And Jacob's a special human being, and when the community gets to know them better, now there's no COVID, this place is going to go through the ceiling for support, and then the second aspect is they're going to win a lot of games. So exciting.
And Matt, a question for you. You can't let you get away without answering one. Obviously, the Hawks fans throughout history have gone through a lot of turmoil. There's obviously a coach now that's departed, a GM and a president. Can you assure Hawkheads that the future is looking really bright?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Like, we've had a long history, which has had its ups and downs. And you look over, as Goorjian said, the last 2 years for me are probably the most challenging 2 years in NBL history. And to be able to come into a program who has a lot of history and a lot of pride, build a team that was competitive, obviously made the playoffs in year one, and then to be able to take that and replicate that in year two, it has been outstanding from the coaching group, and the professionalism that the club's now shown in the basketball area is second to none. So we're now up there with the proper teams as far as in the league. So I think the foundations have been set in place, and Goorj has done a great job of that. Jacob will be able to fill in that space and now continue building on that part. So from the fans and from the community point of view, we are lucky that we had Goorjian here for 2 years, and people that went along to the games were able to see that. I think now it's the time to build on what that foundation has been set, and establish ourselves as a powerhouse in the league moving forward. And the pieces are starting to fall in place in that with the club, and we've got to continue to improve in areas, but it's definitely looking bright.
And as far, do you feel that the ownership team have done so much and invested a lot in the club over the last couple of years? Do you feel that they're going to keep lifting this club to that next level?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a challenge. You know, I've been in pretty much every role in the club, so I understand what it takes to succeed in that space, and I understand the time and effort it takes. So I think the ownership group have done a fantastic job of putting their efforts into pieces of the business to improve it. But I guess we're a little bit like the Harbour Bridge. You've got to keep painting. So once one area is good, then you move on to the next. And I think ultimately the move forward now from the club point of view is to emulate some of the bigger clubs, understand what they do well, and continue our connection within the community, but not only there, internationally. And I think the next step from the NBL and the teams in the NBL is to really push the league even further up the chain and to get an affiliation with the NBA.
I guess a question for Jacob. Now, obviously, it's an off-season. Players can relax and you guys can kick back for a bit. But when does the rebuilding start and what's it look like heading into NBL 23?
I mean, it starts. I mean, obviously, recruiting starts once free agency starts. You know, I mean, we have meetings every day, making sure that the guys are signed. You know, when they're coming back, and planning sessions right now. So it basically starts in some form. You know, yesterday. Obviously, and then once free agency starts, we're looking after the pieces that we have here first, and then obviously look at other teams' players and players overseas, and then once the actual guys are going to go off and play in the NBL 1, which is a positive, see them shine a bit, and then we'll get back in at about August and start working.
Sam and Tyler, will you guys be playing in any of those NBL 1 competitions or this stage?
As of now, no, I don't think so, but who knows?
Enjoy your time off.
And Gorge, be remiss of me not to get a grand final tip from you, your former club against our regional cousins. Who are you tipping in that grand final series?
Well, I'm going to have to go for Sydney. I just think the Jack Jumpers have been unbelievable, but playing Sydney and looking at the pieces that they've got and the fact that they've got home court, you'd have to lean towards them. But I'm excited for this series because the Jack Jumpers have proven that they can do anything and you can't count them out. But you'd have to, if you're a betting man, you'd have to favor the Kings.
And Gorge, what are you going to miss most about the Illawarra?
Wow. Two things. It's all about people. And I've met in just this short period of time. I mean, the guy next to me, we came in together, but the players that I was around every day brought it, and you got to the car, you're teary. I'm gonna really miss them. And then just the organization in general. I know there's going to be changes to the office structure, but just everybody around the club's wonderful. They really are. Yeah, I know you always say that, but they are. And the team was really special to me. And I knew, like I said, in it that this is, and I kept saying we're not all going to be together again. And I always talk about that, but as that was coming out of my mouth, I knew I'm involved in that conversation, and it's teary for me. And then the last is I come from an environment in California like this, and this was how I grew up, you couldn't afford to live. And I keep saying that, but to walk out that stadium, rip your shirt off and dive in that ocean and walk along and have people say to you, hey, coach, good luck tonight, and have a cup of coffee there in the sunshine and having that water there and that beach there in the community. I mean, I've never been in a better spot that way. So I'm going to miss it very, very much.
Cool.
Thanks, boys. Appreciate it. Thank you. Good to see you this morning.